All right. So I'm here with my man Dwayne from Mac Enterprises Consulting. And Dwayne is a client of mine that actually, I think, how did you find me, Dwayne? Was it YouTube?
Actually, my wife found you on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
And I'm curious, what prompted you to, we'll go over your results here in a minute and kind of what you do and everything. What
Yeah.
prompted you to ever even look into hypnosis as a way to help you with your business and making more money and all that stuff? Because most people, when they think about hypnosis, they think quit
Yeah.
smoking, weight loss, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
how did you get exposed to it?
Full transparency, my wife and I were traveling back from Louisiana back to Houston. And she actually had one of your videos on with someone else. Actually, you went through a process of taking them through some sort of hypnosis. And, she started to tell me that you were the one who want to help people with their businesses and things of that nature. And at first, I've heard of hypnotists, but I never knew exactly what it was. But as we were traveling back from Louisiana to Houston, I was actually listening to it and I was watching. I was like, wow, this is actually amazing. So my wife said, hey, would you want to set up a consultation? I said, I would love to. Let's at least, talk to him and see if that's something that, could work for me. Because I'm always looking for different ways to kind of help my business. So I was absolutely open for it.
Awesome, man. And so what was the main thing, the main challenge that you wanted to overcome for yourself? Like where were you at before we did the sessions? And then we'll talk about, your results and everything after.
I was struggling with trying to attract the right clientele, struggling with, understanding it. I know the product that and the services that I provide is definitely meant for a lot of people, but it just seems like I was just kind of hitting a roadblock with not attracting the right people, therefore resulting in, not necessarily hitting the sales targets that I know that, we could hit, but that's basically where my roadblock was, just not attracting the right clients.
Yeah, and that's a very common thing with a lot of business owners, salespeople, right? It's like we want to get the clients that are, have the money to buy our services, are fun and easy to work with, they get great results from it, and then they refer us to their friends and family, right?
Yep.
But when you're in that, when you have certain limiting beliefs in the subconscious, and we'll go over that here in a minute, it really blocks us from being able to
Mhm.
attract and call those clients in. And so what I see a lot of is a lot of people do a lot of the effort, the work, right? It's not
Yep.
most business owners are not struggling because of the work. Most business
Yep.
owners are working 60, 80, 100-hour weeks. It's their mindset that's holding them back from seeing things that aren't there, and also having the belief in themselves that they can go to another level or charge a certain price or whatever it may be. So yeah, that's super, super common. And so for you, so you sell, explain a little bit about what you do, and then we'll talk about what the beliefs were that we help you broke through, and then what your results were going through this process.
So I run a full service business consulting firm where I teach people how to open a business, structure a business, and things of that nature. Primarily, focusing on people who have single member LLCs, and me, being the guy that's saying, "Hey, that's probably not what you should be doing." So just basically educating them on the proper way to structure their business to kind of separate themselves, never having to rely on their personal credit or personal social security number. So a lot of my business stems from that. In addition to, I have a tax office as well. So it's like I help them on the consulting side, and then on the back end, we help them on the tax side.
Nice, nice. And so do you remember what your biggest challenge was in the limiting beliefs that came up during the session?
Believing that I was actually good enough to enter into that market, believing that I was actually good enough to attract those clients who saw the value in what it is that I was actually providing. I knew what I had was of value because again, a lot of people when they start businesses, they start LLCs. So me educating people on that's probably not the best route to go. I knew that there was value there, but believing enough in it and believing enough in the value where I could actually, charge what it's worth, if you will, meet the right people who understood it. So it was always that limiting belief of not feeling that I was good enough or um, believed enough in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so and to add to that, if you remember, one of the things that came up was you felt like, you go live on TikTok and these different
Yep.
platforms, and you felt like you were trying to sell it so hard, or you're trying to like
Yeah.
try so hard to convince people to do
Yeah.
your product or service, and then once you release the not good enough to do, to just kind of like let people come to you, then everything skyrocket. Now, with something that's really interesting is often in hypnosis, what happens is when I work with clients, I'm either working with somebody on something that I have already dealt with myself.
Yeah.
And as I've progressed from just me, solo Dom, just doing everything, sales calls, sessions, marketing, everything, and then building a team and having other hypnotherapists and a sales team and a marketing team and all these different things. I've had, and then doing live events and trainings and all this stuff. At each level, I've had to like break through my limiting
Yeah.
beliefs around that, right? Delegation, leadership, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting is often when I work with clients, they're either somewhere where I kind of just was, right? Like
Yeah.
now it's more of like building companies and stuff like that, more so than just kind of one-on-one. And or what's interesting is often a client comes to me and they're sort of a reflection of something that's going on within me that I didn't realize. And it's like this crazy thing where they'll reveal to me where I'm talking to someone like, oh my God, I deal with that. I never even
Yeah.
thought about that because sometimes we're just it's unconscious, right? It's in there.
Yeah.
I have processes that I can go through to help me find different beliefs, but often we just don't see what we don't see. So it was really interesting. It was very memorable for me because as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I do the same thing. Like I'm always
Yeah.
trying to convince people to do hypnosis because like it's
Yeah.
changed my life and so many people. And
Yeah.
I went through my own clearing and I cleared that out. And it's funny because I used to post every day to like my stories, book a consultation, book a consultation. I used to go live like every single day. And
Yeah.
now I don't even care. I'm just like, whatever. And our appointments have still been high. We had our
Yeah.
biggest month this year in September. And it's just been very fascinating. Just that shift in energy of not having to like try so hard to convince people. We know what we have is valuable. If people see the value, cool, let's do it. If you don't, I'm not here to convince you. It takes more
That's
energy to
correct.
convince you when I can just use that energy on the people that actually are doing our services, right? So,
That's
yeah,
correct.
that was very, very memorable for me. So now, the question that people, or the thing that people are probably thinking, like, okay, what was the tangible results of what
Yeah.
happened? So tell us a little bit about that.
Man, so again, I've been doing this for quite a while. And I do pretty well when it comes to revenue. And typically on a day, on a given week, maybe 15,000 a week. And it's been kind of steady. And a lot of times, I have some, and in the consulting world is cyclical, it's up and down, but never consistent where you can say every week there's about 15 to $20,000 coming in. And ever since I've actually worked with you and going through it, I remember the first time that, I spoke to you, you said, hey, do this for 30 days. And this is basically listening to you, the affirmations at night
The money
and
magnetism sleep hypnosis, right?
the money magnet sleep hypnosis, right? And believe it or not, I took it on. I did exactly what you say. And man, for the first time in my history, man, we did $75,000 in one day. Um,
75,000? I thought it was 50,000. So you did more of
No, it
that?
was 75. It was 75,000.
Oh man, that's congratulations. Dude. That's huge. That's life-changing money for a day.
In one day,
And most of that is
$75,000.
profit, right? I mean, I would
Absolutely.
imagine. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, there's a lot of context to it, right? Because again, we're opening in businesses and, there's a lot of
Yeah.
different
You're
things and,
reinvesting stuff.
reinvesting back into it,
But it's
right?
not
So,
like
but
there's somebody sells a $75,000 car, they're only making, 10 G's off that.
correct,
Not the
correct, correct,
consulting,
correct,
fee, right? So it's like this
correct,
is consulting, so it's basically aside from the little things you got to do and whatever,
correct.
it's all profit. So yeah, man,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's
It was
killer.
actually amazing, man. And it's been on an uphill climb from there. And believe it or not, it's funny because for me to try to explain that to people is like I couldn't explain it to them because it's like there's no way possible, and it's like yes, it's extremely possible because your mindset is so fresh, it's so clear. I do not feel like I have to go live every day. Like I don't feel like I have to, like hey, you gotta listen to this, man. You gotta no. I literally now I get on. Present the information and I don't even try to sell anything to anybody. I like, look, This is the services that I offer. If you're interested, you're interested. If not, hopefully you gain something from this, from this free education. And man, it's been in my brain, it's like, where have you been all my life?
Right, right. I tell people all the time, I'm like, the only thing you're going to wish is you would have done this 5, 10, 20 years ago, right?
Man, where have you been all my life? And still to this day, I know that the sleep hypnosis was only a 30-day exercise. I do it every day,
Yeah.
every
And
day,
that's why you're having record breaking. So wait a minute. Let me get this clear. You used to make 15 to $20,000 a
a
week.
week.
So how much
Mhm.
did you make in a month? And then how much did you just make in a day?
All right. So right now, I did 75. Okay.
So I like
Let's
to
just
give a
say
little
this.
sound bite, right? So it's like before joining John's program, I was doing 15 to 20,000 a week, and then a month later, I did 75,000 in a day.
Correct. It's exactly what it is. So before joining your program, I was doing 15 to $20,000 a week, averaging roughly around 80, maybe break $100,000 a month. And after taking your class, I did 75,000 in one day. And for the first time in my entire existence of being a consultant, my month was $262,000 for the month.
Boom! Look at that. That's two and a half times. So for the people watching, like most consultants don't even do that in an entire year, and you
Correct.
just did it in 1 month, and
In 1 month.
it's just a mindset thing. And it's funny because again, it's like when you stop chasing or feeling that neediness or that you're not good
Hmm.
enough or you have to
Hmm.
sell it, it just automatically just attracts the right people to you. And it's like,
Hmm.
that's awesome, man. I love it. So, what would you say if somebody was on the fence about doing this and they're like, well, I don't know if it's going to work, or I don't know if it'll work
Hmm.
for me, or I don't know if it's going to be worth it. What would you tell them?
I would tell them, in all honesty, you have to believe. You have to believe that there is something that's stopping you that's not tangible. It's not like if you're not putting in the effort, you have to know that the effort is there, but you have to believe that there's something else subconsciously that's limiting you. And explore the option. I would tell them explore the option. One of the things that I've learned, a lot of wealthy people in my studies, one of the things that they do every day is they get up in the morning about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, they work out, they go swim, they go do a cold plunge. They do something different than the average person do on every day. And this was my do something different moment. I've tried a lot of things, but this was the one thing that's like, you know what? A lot of these other things are common. You need to try something that's not as common. And I would tell you, believe that there is something in you that is stopping you. Clear that out. And man, it's almost, it's so funny. After we had our session, it almost as if it was a weight that I have been carrying all these years was lifted. It
Hmm.
was so emotional. It
Hmm.
was extremely emotional because, like, mm, when we went deep, man, we went really deep. So I would tell you, if you're on the fence, bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. Listen to him. Take the steps that he's giving you. Take his program. I would do it 5 times over every single day. I would not even blink an eye.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because you and I, we only did three set because we split the sessions
Just
between you
three.
and my wife. We did three sessions. You know what I mean? Like, and everything is, and now that's your new baseline. Like, that's who you
Oh
are now.
yeah.
You're
Oh
never
yeah.
going to go back to $100,000 months. You know
No.
what I mean? So it's just,
No. No.
going up from here. And yeah, it's interesting because yeah, a lot of people think hypnosis is black magic or it's mind control or it's fake or it's whatever.
Mhm.
And the fact of the matter is literally the highest level people in the world, the best athletes, actors, entrepreneurs, business owners, they all use these tools like hypnosis to help them perform at their best. And what I always say is like in business, there's competition, right? If you're
Yeah.
in real estate, you have competitors. If you're in your
Yeah.
business, competitors, insurance competitors, mortgage competitors. So what are you going to do to separate yourself from the competition?
That's
If you're
correct.
doing what everybody else is doing, reading books and listening to podcasts, doing all the free stuff, probably not going to help you out. So this is a way to gain a competitive edge, not just like, yeah, in a business sense, but also just in a life sense, right? Just
That's
giving you
correct.
an edge in a sense of confidence that most people just don't have. So, yeah, man, I love that, and I appreciate you jump on. So, if anybody wanted to, because I'm going to post this to YouTube and I'm going to email it. We have a
Perfect.
big email list, so I'm going to email this out. So, if anybody wanted to learn more about what you do and work with
Yep.
you, well, how would they go about doing that?
Oh man, that's actually a great question, and thank you for allowing me that opportunity. So I would definitely tell them visit my website at www.macenterpriseconsulting.com, or they can actually follow me on YouTube, um, Instagram, or TikTok at Dwayne DEWAYNE underscore the Mac THEMAC Dwayne underscore the Mac. And man, there's a lot of content on there. There's a lot of good information. And specifically, if you have a single member, if you have an LLC, period, I just would encourage you to just watch some of the content, and I guarantee you to change your life.
Yeah, and you have a pretty big YouTube channel, right? It's like a quarter
Yeah,
million,
but
300,000
yeah, about
subscribers.
267,000 subscribers.
Yeah, yeah, and you have a lot of. I remember that day when I was checking out your stuff. You have a lot of great insight, and it's all free. So it's
Yeah,
like
it's
you
free
guys, if you're a
information.
business owner and you have an LLC, you got to check out this guy's stuff and
Yeah.
take a look. And then you're on TikTok as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I typically go live on TikTok a lot. Typically Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. Central. I do go live on YouTube just sporadically. But there's a lot of great information, a lot of great content. And I love just educating people. And again, it's absolutely free just to get the information.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna put I'll get your links and all that. We'll put them down in the
Perfect.
description. And like I said, I'm gonna email this out to my email list
Thank
and
you,
then,
man. Thank you.
see if we can generate some clients for you. So we could break
Man,
that
that'd be amazing.
75K in a day.
Absolutely. I'm hungry for it. It's like, man, I know I can have $100,000 day. I know I can have it. I know,
Yeah,
and I believe it. I believe it. It's right there.
100%. You're right there, man. So awesome, Dwayne.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for jumping on today, my man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Talk to you soon.